Okay, so I came across this article, and this title actually made me stop scrolling. It's titled, "We Are Hated as a Nation. There's One Man to Blame." Now, I've always said on my channel, it's not just one man, it's 77 million and those who didn't vote. But I am still surprised that US citizens still think it's just one guy that's causing all these problems. I mean, it's kind of logical if you ask me. 77 million citizens voted this guy in. This guy's causing all the problems. Who do you blame for this? It's the people who voted him in, as well as the people who didn't vote at all. You don't need a Harvard degree to understand this. But in this video, I'm going to read out the article for everyone. And it's actually a really good one. Just up to the point where he said one man caused all these problems. Now, before I start, if this is the first time you're clicking on one of my videos, and you want to hear more from a Canadian and international perspective, without the US media bias, hit that subscribe button below. That way you're notified of my future videos. And cat disclaimer, if you hear a cat, it's probably mine. So no need to go search around your house for yours. Now, I'm going to read out the whole article because I know some of you are just listening right now, or doing errands around the house while you're watching my video. Just a heads up, this article was published on March 19th, so about a month ago. A lot has changed since then, but this article is still relevant. So let's get started. I spent a happy Saints Day on Tuesday having a few jars at my local with a new friend named Dennis O'Connor, a good carryman who lived over here for some time. We talked a while about international sport, especially how Ireland had been hosed out of the Six Nations Rugby Championships by England. Damn it, who folded like a cheap suit handed the win to France on a late penalty kick. We suspected the fine handed to Edward Carlson or Lord Trevelyan or Cromwell, working with the ref to the bowels of the hell. I don't know what the hell they're talking about. The only time I saw Dennis get angry was when, somehow, the government of the United States came up in casual conversation. Now let me pause here for a minute because I can totally relate to this. Anytime I'm at work and we're talking about like anything local or nothing to do with the United States, the second that somebody brings up the United States, my tone completely changes. Like we could be talking about something work related and then all of a sudden someone might say, "Do you think the gas prices will go down anytime soon? And will this war in the Middle East stop?" That usually changes my tone pretty quickly, because I know this topic shouldn't exist if it weren't for the United States. And I usually start off by saying, don't get me started on this. Now, the good thing is that all my colleagues at work, they understand. I mean, they know I'm from Canada and they know what's going on right now. And usually when our work conversations get sidetracked, I usually take it as an opportunity to educate people around me. So when this article says that this Dennis guy got angry when the US government topic came up, I can totally relate. So question for the audience. How many of you can relate to this as well? You might be having like a normal conversation or something not related to the United States, and the second that something comes up that relates to the United States, your tone completely changes. I'm sure I'm not the only one, and it truly amazes me that in a short 14 months, anything related to the United States is a trigger for people now. All right, I'll get back to the article. Let me restart this screenshot. The only time I ever saw Dennis get angry was when somehow the government of the United States came up in casual conversation. This included the World Baseball Classic, in which Venezuela was playing the US team, chock full of mega curious dumbasses who seemed to think they were playing ball on the Omaha beach. The intensity of my new friend's contempt for this government surprised even me. Well, doesn't surprise me at all, but I'm not a US citizen. If we incurred the dislike of Irish immigrants on St. Patrick's Day, we passed a point of unpopularity that I thought we'd never come near. Kind of reminds me of somebody just realizing that they're the bad guy. Moving on. Venezuela beat the insufferable cup members of the United States at the World Baseball title. On Monday, when Venezuela beat Italy, this is what the President of the United States posted on his money pit of a social media platform. Wow, Venezuela defeated Italy tonight 4-2 in the WCB baseball semifinal. They are looking great. Good things are happening to Venezuela lately. I wonder what the magic is all about. Statehood? 51? Anyone? President Idiot. Now, we in Canada, we're used to these jabs. We're used to the 51st state bullshit that it comes out of his mouth. Not only his, but also the 77 million idiots that voted for him. And I hate the fact that we're actually used to it. It shouldn't even be happening to begin with. And even the co-host hates it as well. But what really irks me is the amount of apathetic US citizens that are just saying, "Oh, it's just the orange guy being the orange guy, you just gotta ignore him." That's like having a bully constantly punching you and insulting you, and then the bully's parents or relatives saying, "Oh, just ignore him, he's just being him." That's not gonna sit well with many Canadians or even people around the world. And in my opinion, that's why I think this boycott, the now global boycott, is so strong. Back to the article. I have watched as the entire world has responded to his appeal to help him bail himself out of a very excellent Iranian excursion by telling him that, "No, we can't make it. We gotta grow out the tub." I have seen that the United States has been downgraded in the Democracy Index, a respected international survey, based partially on the administration continuing assault on free expression and the First Amendment generally. Now, to be honest, I didn't have to rely on an international survey. I have my comments section that I can rely on. And I trust the GTL community more than any international survey. But back to his comments on the First Amendment. What's the point of having it if you're not going to actually enforce it? I mean, reading about the First Amendment of the US Constitution, ratified in 1791, as a part of the Bill of Rights, prohibits Congress from restricting freedom of speech, press, religion, and assembly and petitions. Well, when it comes to freedom of speech, I don't think that's happening when your social media is getting screened. And people are getting in trouble for having this on their phone. So yeah, freedom of speech, I don't think it's happening right now. When it comes to the press, well, all I have to say is Fox News. Religion? Well, it seems like anything except for Christianity is not allowed. Assembly? Well, that might get you shot. And petitions in the United States? They're about as useless as Chuck Schumer's angry letters. So I do question, what is the point of having these amendments if they're not going to be put in place? Back to the article. I have heard the president trying to blackmail Denmark into surrendering Greenland, and his towering foolishness regarding Canada, including referring to the country's prime minister as Governor Carney, and how he should be involved in picking the next leader of Iran, and most recently, how he could do anything he wants with Cuba. The Emperor of Adderall, he brings to mind this passage from Exodus. Now, I'm not a religious person, so I really don't know much about this. Now there arose up a new king over Egypt, which knew not Joseph. And he said unto his people, Behold, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we. Come on, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply, and it come to pass, that, when there are fatteth to get out of any war, they also join undo our enemies, and fight against us, and so get them up out of the land. And there arose up a new president over the United States, who did not give a flying, I'll say it, fuck. All of this I followed as part of my professional obligation, but watching my new friend, Dennis, on Tuesday and seeing the contempt on his face and in his voice, drove the new reality home like nothing had before. We are hated as a nation now. One man has done this. Well, Charles P. Pierce, the author of this article, you are right on one thing. You are hated as a nation, but you are wrong that one man has done this. It is one man, this guy right here, who is in the driver's seat right now. But you have to question who put him in the driver's seat, and who gave him the power to be able to drive the car without any rules. I mean, it's not just the people on the screen right now. I mean, yeah, these guys are all douchebags in the photo. But Charles, the real driving reason why your country is in this mess right now is because of these guys here. Every single one of them. Because these people here ticked the box beside the orange guy's name when they voted, and decided to vote on hate and racism. And they all believed the lie like a bunch of lemmings. And to this day, still believe the lie. Now, some of them, they might be smartening up, like this person right here.
If you could say something to President Trump and he was going to hear you right now, what would it be?
You're a worthless pile of
And you voted for him how many times?
3 times. That was my bad. Apparently, I'm an idiot.
Yes, you are. And I give you credit for admitting that. But apologizing doesn't give you a free pass to getting out of the responsibility of what you've caused. Now, while there are some MAGA that are abandoning the ship right now, the MAGA movement is still strong. And even when the cholesterol does its job on the orange guy, these MAGA people will just follow the next leader. Charles P. Pierce and your article, when you stated one man has done this, I hope my argument has showed you that it's not just one man. And if you can't see or understand this, I don't know what to tell you, because this is what the rest of the world sees. And the relationship with the United States and the rest of the world is not going to magically be solved when the orange guy is 6 feet under. So maybe start blaming the right people. That might actually start to get some progress. Alright, this is a bit of a shorter video today because I really have to head out after this. But today's backdrop, I know my photos are usually primarily Canadian themed. But then I thought, hey, why not? I know the audience, majority of you guys love the co-hosts. So here you go. This is a photo I took earlier today. And when she's sleeping, it's definitely a lot more peaceful around the house. Alright, that's it for this video. If you found any value in anything I said today, or you want to hear more from a Canadian and international perspective, without the US media bias, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button below. That way you're notified of my future videos. And if you want to see more of my videos, check out the ones that are going to show up on your screen shortly. Thanks everyone. I'll catch you in the next one.